Today I'm going to put my arts and crafts and DIY skills to the test by creating a DIY advent calendar. It's perfect for the holiday season, but also perfect when you want to celebrate any occasion with multiple gifts. So today I want to do another gift collection for my expecting friend. And so I've got a bunch of things from my Europe trip that I got for her. So I've got a little mocha pot because she's going to need the caffeine with the baby. I've got just some floral and fruity teas because I know she loves a good tea. And then I got a really adorable Bridgerton themed ground coffee. How cute is that? Anyway, so I've got those, but with what I'm trying to do an advent calendar, and with those you've just got varying sizes, shapes, and values. So my goal is to kind of DIY a variety of things. This is kind of more of like a postpartum advent calendar to just keep her spirits up after birth. So I've got some Italian chocolate, so I'm going to just shove into a jar. The biggest challenge, the biggest challenge I have is that she lives a flight away. So I have to package these in a way that I can take them on a trip, which means that I'm not going to be able to package all of the gifts I want, but I do want to wrap a few of them to just get them ready. So these are all kind of store-bought. To make it budget friendly, again, I said I've got chocolates, I've got just like some of her favorite treats, but I've also just gone into the dollar section of Target, grabbed stuff from there, and then I'm planning on going to the dollar store, Five Below, just to find other things to fill in because she loves little knickknacks. But the other way I'm going to be a little more mindful of my budget is to DIY some things. So here I've got some Aida cloth, some thread, and a needle to just make like a little embroidery DIY so she can embroider the baby name or just anything essentially. I also took it upon myself to DIY a blanket. This was originally for the baby, however, I don't think it's the right size, so it could be like a play mat or like a mat underneath the baby, or it could be for her cats. But it was the first attempt of my blanket, but I'm still going to give it to her because I definitely think she can use it. These are all of the gifts so far. My theme is to do this kind of wrapping, and so, I just came off of that. That's how you know I don't wrap presents very often. So this is the great part where my camera decided to malfunction and deleted all of the footage, hence why we are looking at phone footage from the content that I create for my short form. However, I did want to just point out that I am using that paper material, some twine, and then to make it a little bit more budget friendly, I am also using paper lunch bags because they are the same color and they will just make it a lot easier to wrap the oddly shaped gifts. Okay, I know looking at the phone format is so annoying. However, I want to just go through how I use the lunch bags because it was actually kind of genius. And that works perfect. Now, I know a paper bag is not the prettiest. However, I wanted to just zhuzh it up with the twine and I wanted to find a creative way to close the back. So I went ahead and just started folding it, and then I was going to tuck the twine into the fold. I couldn't really decide what I wanted to do for design for the twine, but I ended up going with a knot because I thought it was cute, it was minimal, and it was easy on my carpal tunnel. I am so big on being sustainable whenever you can, which is why I try to use recycled paper and I try to avoid tape as much as possible, but I love a functional wrap. So wrapping bottles or things that are in jars, in socks and things like that, I love that, but I couldn't do it for a lot of these. Also, the issue I have with wrapping stuff is like we both know you're just tossing it. But I did wrap that glass tray in the blanket that I made. A, it'll be a surprise, and B, I kind of need to make sure it is fully supported when I travel. I did unfortunately have to use tape with the paper bags just because the flap would not stay down and it would just immediately open up as soon as you picked it up. So I did use a small piece of tape on those. And then you'll see on some of the boxes I also had to use tape, even though I tried my best to avoid it. Next, I went ahead and wrapped the mocha pot, but again, I'm trying to get out of this ugly formatting of footage, so I'm going to wrap it and then I'll come back for the jar of chocolate. Similar to before, I don't want it to just look like a plain brown wrapping, so I did use that twine to just give it a little extra detail, and so I just wrapped it and then gave it a knot, and then I want to add some dried leaves and flowers to these. I might do fresh, we'll see, but I can't do that until after I fly over and hand deliver the gifts, so I will do it then. Off to Hogwarts. And this is what that box is looking like. You can see I tried to use the twine to hold the paper down, and then I am going to put it to the side and we will start to wrap the little chocolates. I think by now you're getting the theme. I want this to be a cute but functional, but also using supplies that I have at home. So for this one, I got a little creative with the jar just because I wanted it to be wrapped, but it's kind of really hard to wrap a jar with paper without it just looking like a box. So instead of doing that, I went ahead and kind of just wrapped it up in the paper like you would with that like plastic or like with tissue paper, and then I tied it with the twine. That was too short. Wait, no. Okay, that's through. And then we got to do this. So for this one, I just wrapped it by crumpling up paper around it and making sure to leave some excess so it has like a little mohawk, similar to how they wrap gift baskets. And then to secure it, I only used twine, so no tape. I then used those techniques to wrap all of the rest of the things, and then luckily my camera caught the last end of the footage, so we'll go back to that footage now. And back to properly formatted footage, you can see I have a box that I decided to put the blanket in. Originally, I was going to wrap the box, but I went back and forth and I realized, no, you know what? I will use it as packing materials for that tray. And also, if I pack it in a box, it's less likely to be maneuverable in my suitcase. Keep it in the box and then pack it and then wrap it there. Just bring all my supplies, but I will wrap this. I then struggle to wrap yet another present because I just do it on the fly and don't actually Google how to do it. But I also made a fun discovery along the way. Are these different colors? Dang. I then spent another 20 minutes trying to wrap this gift. I know I suck at this, but I'm trying to use the least amount of tape. A, because tape didn't really stick to this particular paper. I don't know why, but also because I'm trying to be a little bit more sustainable. And with that, that meant I sacrificed on the looks. So don't use me as a frame of reference on how to wrap gifts, but more as the ideas. And one of the ideas I did love that I did was adding dried leaves to some of these plants. Now, I said I was trying to reduce on tape for sustainability, but for this I couldn't find any way to add the leaves to these boxes without them getting damaged, so I used shipping tape to just laminate them onto the box. Let's try these. I went ahead and just played around with the layouts and eventually landed on just being very minimal with only using one of the leaves. I'm gonna secure it with packing tape because I know those will come off in shipping. Transportation. This. Ooh. Excuse me? Like, rude, how dare you? But luckily it was just static and it didn't actually stick to the tape, so I was able to easily remove it. And this time I went ahead and cut my piece of tape and firmly secured it down before this little leaf decided to do any other magic tricks. There. Cute. Okay, the last one that I need to package, I have no idea how to package. I had a few ideas on how I would have packaged this. One is if I had manila envelopes, I would have used those, but I did have these small brown envelopes, so I went ahead and just refolded all of the Ada cloth and tried to shove all of the supplies into those. If I do it like this, then stick the safety pin in. I know I have envelopes from the greeting card. I think it could fit in this. Doing place. Yeah. And just my luck, it was just a tad bit too small, so I had to rethink and I decided, you know what, I would just use the paper to just DIY my own envelope. To do that, I just went ahead and cut a random size of the paper, and then I am just going to fold it into the shape of a manila envelope. And one thing I had been doing throughout all of these packages to make them look a little prettier and not just brown papery is folding the edges so they're folded and not just raw, badly cut edges. I'm gonna tape it down. So again, I succumbed to the tape, but I could not find a way off the top of my head to do this. However, I am sure that if I had just Googled it, I would have been able to find a way to do it without the tape. But after I taped it down, I went ahead and just folded the edges. I am just going to roll them a couple of times, A, to secure the goods, and B, to just make sure that they look a little presentable and better than just like a crumpled edge. I repeated it on both sides, and I don't know, I feel like it looks different, so it makes it look like a variety of like items in the calendar. However, I was not happy with it. This looks like a shipping envelope. And yeah, it truly does. I might as well have gone to USPS and just picked up a shipping envelope. However, it did the job, and again, I could not find a way to secure the edges, so I am going to use some more tape. That's cute. I kind of wanted to put like a design or something for her in it, but I'll give her creative liberties. Now, I felt like the envelope was a little too envelope-y, so I decided to add some dried leaves to just give it some character. And I was going to go with this eucalyptus because it was a little bit more round, and I feel like the round with the square envelope just kind of contradicts in a way. I don't know if that's like a legitimate thing, but I felt like it looked super cute. So I'm going to use the packing tape again to secure these leaves, but this time I'm going to be very paranoid about the static. Since it was a wider envelope, I had to do 2 sides of packing tape just to make sure everything was covered because I didn't want anything to get crushed or damaged in the shipping. That's cute. And now's the portion of the DIY where I start to contemplate my DIY skills. However, looking at them now, I'm like, they're actually very cute. They are definitely a little monochromatic. However, the effort and the creativity definitely shows, and what matters is really what's on the inside of the packages. The last thing that needs to happen is to get these safely delivered across the country. I don't know how I'm gonna get these in my suitcase. I'm pretty sure I actually am on a no suitcase flight, so that's a problem for future me. Future me. I haven't even delivered them yet. However, these guys are all set and ready to go. I will be delivering them in a future video, so stay tuned for that.